So, what makes the fashion dolls that we collect so spectacular and so essential to have? Well, for every collector, that's going to be something slightly different. But I've summarised what I see as the absolute essentials to collecting into four broad categories: beauty, uniqueness, versatility, and rarity. Beauty pretty much goes without saying. Do you love how that doll looks? Is she just so incredible that you can't let go of her? Uniqueness? Well, is there something special, something different, something that really separates her from every other doll that you've ever seen? Versatility? What can we do with that doll? How can we change them? Are there all different ways that we can display that doll to really make them ours? And rarity? Well, how many of them are there? Are there so few that collectors hunt them desperately that you have to absolutely jump at the first sale you see in years potentially? And sometimes it also comes down to price with rarity. Is that doll really so expensive that we just couldn't let go of them? Well, often for me, what makes a doll perfect is some combination of those four aspects. So it might be two or more of them combined. So today I'm going to introduce you to several of my dolls that I just would never want to let go of, and I'm going to explain to you why. This is Alex by Madame Alexander. This particular release is called Western Debutante. She was a limited edition of only 200, released in 2004 for the MADCC, a convention held in Fort Worth, Texas. Because of that, she's got obviously rarity as one of her features. But what I just love about this doll is her face. She's one of the less well-known collectible fashion dolls, who is actually reasonably cheap to purchase on the secondary market now. But to me, her face is just really special. It's not super realistic. You can tell she's a doll, but it just has that wow factor. She also has a truly incredible outfit. This was made for a Western convention, and this outfit is a stylized Western outfit. Look at the incredible back of that corset she comes in, the wonderful gathers on the skirt. Everything about this doll is just special. She also is very versatile because she has such great articulation. And again, I find her body to be particularly beautiful, partly because it is a little bit less realistic than some, and you can just pose her to be almost like an artwork. She even has articulated toes, which although you can't see because she's wearing boots, you can tell that her feet look quite comfortable with those low heels, which a higher heeled fashion doll wouldn't. This next doll is Delilah Noir. She's made by the Ashton Drake Company, who are very well known for making lots of dolls. They haven't made many who would be defined as fashion dolls, Jean Marshall and Delilah Noir being the main exceptions. She does have wonderful jointing to her arms, as she is technically described as a BJD, ball jointed doll, which again, most of the Ashton Drake dolls are not. If you have a look at her face, she has a really beautiful, almost angelic face. This particular Delilah Noir is called It's 10 O'Clock. And what makes these dolls so special, in my opinion, is that most of the Delilah Noirs came with two different wigs, two different sets of clothing, and even two different sets of feet so that they could change from flat feet to high-heeled feet. This one, I just really love how she looks. Again, I describe that really angelic face, which I think is quite special. And it's her versatility which makes her so unique. Moving on to the Robert Tonner dolls, I'm going to introduce you to two of them today, partly because they're the biggest part of my collection and partly because there are just so many differences. Now, because of that, it can be hard to choose which one you want. I have a couple of favorite face sculpts, and I'm going to show you two of them today. This lady here, she is Shauna, her face sculpt, also known as the Sweetheart face sculpt. In this one, she is the Queen of Hearts, and this particular doll is called the Wonderland Costume Ball. The reason I love this one, not only do I just love the Shauna face sculpt, but the marking underneath her eye, I think, is one of the things that makes her particularly special because, well, for me, uniqueness is so important. And when there are so many dolls out there, just those little things that make each doll especially unique is really important. I don't have her in her original costume. I've changed her into something I feel really matches her hair and that tattoo. And again, one of the special things about fashion dolls is how fun it can be to change their look with a little bit of clothing. The next Robert Tonner doll is a Daphne. She's called Queen of Diamonds. And you can probably see before I even introduce her why she stands out so much. That incredible hair color. When I have had people visit my doll studio before, she's usually the one who grabs their eye first. She, like the previous doll you saw, is quite a limited edition. This one is a limited edition of 300. Shauna was a limited edition of 200, I believe. Both really amazing, and it is those features that pop that really make them stand out. Like the previous doll, I haven't got this one in her original costume, but I do particularly love this outfit as well. So I'll just show you a little bit more of it. I think this one just goes with her hair incredibly well, even though it wasn't the original. This outfit is called Egyptian Flame and comes from the Brenda Starr doll line, also by Robert Tonner. This is the only doll who isn't a 16-inch doll who I'm going to show you today. And some people might be surprised to see this Poppy Parker in the lineup. She's called Poppy Parker Galaxy Girl. She's made by Integrity Toys and she is a 12-inch doll, so similar size to Barbie. People might be surprised because actually this doll is not terribly rare and she's not that sought after. But to me, she just has that uniqueness that is so hard to find in dolls. I also have a particular fondness for science fiction. And so that harking back to 60s sci-fi with her look is just wonderful. Her hair color, her skin color are really unique. The outfit, and even though I can't stand guns in reality, somehow dolls with a little laser like that, it just adds that spark of fun that I'm really looking for in doll collecting. This girl, she's only a limited edition of 3,000, so there's lots of her. Like I said, she's actually not that sought after, but she just is. She just has that spark. When I opened her box, which wasn't that long ago, she was one of the few dolls where I literally opened it and genuinely gasped. She was so incredible. Sticking with the 60s sci-fi theme, this is Jean Marshall in Distant Venus. And like Poppy, she is meant to be based on a character who might have come out of a 1950s or 1960s science fiction movie. I really love this doll, again, because of that harking back to the wonderful sci-fi, but also because she is so beautiful. She comes from a convention based on that theme. She had a companion doll and a set of accessories that would have also given her a laser pistol similar to Poppy's. Unfortunately, I've never got those accessories, and that's something I'm still looking for. But nonetheless, she has another really angelic face. She has a beautiful hairstyle with those sweeping curls and the very pale blonde. And she has a really fantastic dress with a great silhouette showing that wonderful line and that 60s sci-fi fashion. The last doll is also the rarest and the hardest to get hold of. She's made by Kingdom Doll. They're a UK company who sculpt and create everything themselves by hand. So she's hand painted, her wig is handmade, and if I had her original clothing, they would also be hand done by those artists. They are quite expensive dolls, and they're also released in very small quantities, usually not more than 50. And despite the cost, they sell out in just a few seconds. So it is extremely hard to get hold of these. You really have to find them secondhand, as I did this one. Otherwise, it's nearly impossible to get them. I did not get her original outfit when I got her, so I have dressed her in what I think is a spectacular tonner gown called Cinema Satins that I really think suits her incredibly well. They also have really distinctive features. You can see the sort of, sharp, regal features to her face that are very recognizable in all of the Kingdom dolls.